Coming up on 5 Minute News. US overdose deaths hit record 93,000 in pandemic year. Afghan Taliban sees border crossing with Pakistan. And UNESCO says Italy's ban on cruise ships in Venice is good news. It's Thursday, July 15. I'm Anthony Davis. Overdose deaths soared to a record 93,000 last year in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, the US government reported on Wednesday. That estimate far eclipses the high of about 72,000 drug overdose deaths reached the previous year and amounts to a 29% increase. Lockdowns and other pandemic restrictions isolated those with drug addictions and made treatment harder to get. While prescription painkillers once drove the nation's overdose epidemic, they were supplanted first by heroin and then by fentanyl, a dangerously powerful opioid in recent years. Fentanyl was developed to treat intense pain from ailments like cancer, but has increasingly been sold illicitly and mixed with other drugs. Contaminated fentanyl was involved in more than 60% of the overdose deaths last year, CDC data suggests. There's no current evidence that more Americans started using drugs last year. Rather, the increased deaths most likely were people who'd already been struggling with addiction. Overdose deaths are just one facet of what was overall the deadliest year in US history, with about 378,000 deaths attributed to COVID-19. The nation saw more than 3.3 million deaths. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reviewed death certificates to come up with the estimate for 2020 drug overdose deaths. The estimate of over 93,000 translates to an average of more than 250 deaths each day, or roughly 11 every hour. Taliban fighters in Afghanistan seized control of a major border crossing with Pakistan on Wednesday, one of the most important objectives they've achieved so far during a rapid advance across the country as US forces pull out. Video released by the militants showed their white flag with black Quranic verse flying in place of the Afghanistan flag above the Friendship Gate at the border crossing in the Afghan town of Wesh, opposite the Pakistani town of Shaman. The crossing in the Spin Boldak district of Afghanistan's main southern city, Kandahar, is the landlocked country's second busiest entry point and main commercial artery between its sprawling southwest region and Pakistani seaports. Afghan government data indicate the route is passed by 900 trucks a day. Afghan officials said government forces had pushed back the Taliban and were in control of the district. But civilians and Pakistani officials said the Taliban remained in control of the crossing. Officials in Chaman said the Taliban had suspended all travel through the gate. The Taliban have in recent days seized other major border crossings in Herat, Farah and Kunduz provinces in the north and west. Control of the border posts allows the Taliban to collect revenue. The Islamist militants who ruled Afghanistan from 1996 until their ouster in 2001 by US bombing following September 11, 2001 attacks on the United States have since been fighting to topple the Western-backed government in Kabul. US President Joe Biden has announced he is pulling out all US troops by August, and American forces left their main base in the country 2 weeks ago in the dead of night. Emboldened Taliban have been making a fresh push to surround cities and capture territory. The United Nations Culture Agency, which was considering declaring Venice an imperiled World Heritage Site, on Wednesday hailed Italy's ban on big cruise ships in the heart of the lagoon city. UNESCO Director General Audrey Azoulay tweeted that the Italian government's Tuesday decision to deny access to the mammoth liners as of August 1st is very good news and an important step that significantly contributes to the safeguarding of this unique heritage site. Starting next month, ships over a certain size or weight or surpassing specific pollution levels could no longer ply the Giudecca Canal, a major sea artery in Venice, or cruise the waters near St. Mark's Square, the historic heart of the environmentally fragile city. Until a permanent docking place can be selected and developed for the big cruise ships, the liners will be permitted to pull up in Marghera, an industrial suburb of Venice. UNESCO, which is based in Paris, recommended last month adding Venice to its list of World Heritage in Danger sites. You can subscribe to 5 Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5 Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5 Minute News is an Evergreen Podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.